Happy Monday, everybody. I know each big accomplishment we get there, I give the whole spiel or whatever, but it is our 60th episode. That's crazy to me, man. 60 episodes that we've been doing this. Uh, I'm very humbled and grateful again. I said it on social media earlier, the people that support me and the team and tune into the show every week and read our articles on the website, just everything that we do in general, the support we've gotten throughout the years and through these 60 episodes. Obviously, our sponsors, Qualified Data Systems and Lemon City Live, for making this possible and giving us a platform to be able to do this. Again, thank you so much. And I just so elated, man. This is a great Monday night every time to get on here and talk to you guys. And we have something each week to talk about in the sports world. It's great. So I'm happy to continue this episode 60. We're going to shoot for 70 next. That's the goal, and up and beyond that. So again, Danny Torres, Janka, and Brandon Hernandez, episode 60, guys. Welcome to Monday Night Plug Talk Sports live show.
Welcome.
Yo.
So I think last time we started with bad news, so it's good news. Brandon, good news.
I got to tell you guys right now, for the good news, for those who do not know, during the summer, I was actually an employee with the Alligator for the sports section, specifically with B-Writer for golf. I am proud to announce I am sticking with the Alligator, and this time doing volleyball. So I'll be covering a lot of the good stories of volleyball around the Florida Gators. So that is probably one of the best things I have so far coming from me.
Okay, I saw it on your Twitter, man, and congratulations. I know that you've been putting on a lot of work over there, dude. And, aside from the stuff you do here at Plug Talk Sports, man, like everything you've done up there at UF, and especially before you went up there here at FIU, it's been great, dude. And not only have I built a friendship with you, but it's been great to see your growth as not as a sports commentator, but as a writer as well, and your knowledge of the game, especially basketball. Again, Brandon has a phenomenal basketball podcast you guys can go and check out. So we are a team. You guys can always follow us individually in our work and stuff like that. So follow Brandon. He's got some good stuff going on.
No, of course. Thank you. And everyone on the panel itself. I mean, we're more than just broadcasters, man. I'm telling you, we're all talented writers, man. So everything we do, we always bring into Plug Talk.
Janka, best thing of the week.
Best thing out of the week? Well, it would have to be for everybody that doesn't know, I graduated Miami-Dade this past summer. All right. And today I just received my acceptance letter from FIU. If you guys didn't see this,
nice, dude. Nice.
So it's official.
You can no longer be a Canes fan. FIU's your team now.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
We refer to the Canes as the school in Coral Gables.
Yep, that's what you got.
That's the real mind, man.
You can call me a biracial angel.
Oh.
For me, it's gonna have to be, dude. We had this guy on our show 2 weeks ago, and he was just telling us how hard he's been working, how bad he wants this, and he goes out on Sunday, the first preseason game. I believe it was Sunday. I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday, either one of those days. Yeah, Colts and Bills, and he does well. He does extremely well. That's our guy, Devontae Price. Big shout out to him. That was the best thing, man. It was very to see it. It was very warming and fulfilling. Not only seeing an FIU guy, but him being taking the time to be on the show and him seeing him talk about how bad he wants this and the passion. Seeing him ball out, that was great, and it was really heartwarming to see that. So that's the best thing I saw in the past week for sure. Brandon, bad news. The start of bad news. Go for it.
Well, I don't really have a lot of bad things going for me right now. However, the one thing is, because I just kind of moved into a new place here in Northern Florida. I'm not gonna put the location out there for those people that are watching, but just know it's a little bit empty at the moment. It's a little bit empty. So Good news, I'm here. Bad news, I don't really got a place to put myself on the nightstand. I'm kind of sitting down crisscross applesauce doing this podcast. So, old fashioned, but
Jonka, worst thing.
Worst thing. That's tough. I guess it would have to be. Me and Daniel were on a sailboat this past week, and the one day I don't wear my hat is the one day my entire scalp and my entire head is sunburned.
I told him. Warned him to say, "Hey, bro, you didn't bring." Didn't have sunglasses either. I was like, "No hat, no sunglasses."
Sunglasses, I forgot it in my car. I was gonna bring the hat and I totally forgot. Like I don't care about my arms or like the shoulder or anything, but just I forgot to wear my hat, and so my head is burnt. And so whenever I got in the shower and the hot water came on, it just skipped my mind, and all of a sudden I was like.
No, yeah, but imagine though, if you had just the sunglasses though, it would make that like print. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Maybe a blessing in disguise. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I got tan though.
Okay, I see you.
Okay, so the worst thing for me, which it was bad, but it was comical for me. Shout out to Isaac because I know he's gonna hate me for this and hate that we're talking about it. Me and Jonka actually watched a complete meltdown and slacking of Manchester United. Bro, 4 goals by Brentford in one half. And they were not going, those Brentford guys were not going easy. As Jonka and Cristiano Ronaldo, they were legit pushing this guy all over the floor.
Bro, and brutal.
It was two of the goals at the beginning were mistakes by the keeper, David De Gea. And you think that each week you're like, oh, okay, Manchester United can't get worse than this. The bar immediately just gets lower and lower and lower, and you don't know when it's going to stop. And here's the best part. That was Brentford. Next week, they got Liverpool, which Liverpool's not off to the best of start either. But still, it's that one can go either way, I think. But 0 points for Manchester United right now. Bad. I feel for all those Manchester United fans out there.
100%. When I was watching the game with Daniel, I was just on my phone and he was on his phone. And then a goal would score, and then we'd go back and look down on our phones, and all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, another goal would happen.
I was tweeting, man. That's what I was doing. When those goals went by, I just went down and started tweeting. I was like, look at this mess. This is crazy.
Bro, it was after the second goal where you see Ronaldo like put his hands up, like, yo, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, it's like,
and then
what's going on? And let me tell you, though, I bet you they lost because those weird-looking away jerseys, man. I have no idea what's going on with these teams in Great Britain talking about the yellow, the highlight yellow type of away jersey. Man, I'm hoping a loss like this changes the marketing. I hope they bring back the home jerseys every single time because those are the only good jerseys out there.
I thought it was BP gas station when I looked at it.
Well, Orion?
Oh, yeah, Orion Fuel. So if you guys, we're going to go into our first topic. If you guys did not know, the headline out of the week, San Diego Padres star, and supposedly he is kind of the face of the MLB now, Fernando Tatis Jr. suspended 80 games for a PED called cholesterol. He took a test and they found some of the substance returning back in his test. There's been all sorts of theories behind this. He came out and said he was dealing with ringworm and that he took this medication and the medication had cholesterol in it, and that's what happened. His dad, just before we got live, his dad saying that he was dealing with some sort of fungus from a haircut and he took some medication for it and it had cholesterol in it. Regardless, here's my take on it. Regardless, this is why you have team doctors and athletic trainers on your staff. So they give you this stuff and they give you the stuff that is in compliance with the league rules. So you don't mess up or they don't mess you up. You just don't go and start taking stuff and not make sure it's approved or check that's approved by the league or run it by the team doctors or athletic trainers and just start popping pills or substance or medications or whatever it is. And then something like this happens. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, oh, okay, he had something going on or whatever. But it's a little shady to me. Like, come on. Like, I think you know what you were doing. And I think he just screwed over his team big time. They just signed Juan Soto. After they signed Juan Soto, they put together they got Machado, Soto, Tatis. They put together a great squad. The Padres are finally saying, great. We can finally take the NL West back from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And as soon as they think that, there's Tatis Jr. with the PEDs. And I believe it was the president of the San Diego Padres came out and said that the relationship between him and Tatis has been whatever, that he kind of took shots at him in the media saying that Tatis is still young, that he needs to grow up, that he's still a little bit immature and thinking only about himself. So there was shots fired in the media from the president of the team over at Tatis Jr. And he kind of said it is what it is and we have to live with it and move forward as a ball club. But I think, a lot of these players, and to my closing point, a lot of these players, like, come on, man. Like, you're going to get caught one way or another. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, personally, though, like, in the sense of baseball, like, we know that some guys are probably taking something, right? Drug enhancement has been a huge part of MLB during the 90s, during the whole home run back and forth era with Barry Bonds and whatnot with steroids. And now seeing Tatis, I mean, not even that. It was an 80-plus day or whatever it is. That's the majority of the rest of the season going into probably the postseason. So this will now be a Padres team having to figure out how to still, build off of chemistry without one of their star guys. So I think Tatis, I mean, whatever reasons he had, obviously go over there, as you said before, Daniel, go to the team doctors, get whatever prescription or whatever they can go, communicate with the organization, communicate with the club. But obviously Tatis, I mean, I'm pretty sure he knew what he was doing. He was definitely taking drug enhancement drugs for the only reason to better himself. I don't think there was a, foot fungus as, he's supposed to says. Everything's still up in the air, until proven guilty. But if you ask me, Tatis, obviously, he knew what he was doing, and he put not only himself, but now the Padres into a situation where they might have some struggles during the postseason. So, honestly, this is going to be huge.
And responding to that, Brandon, before Jonka goes, it's like, you have to know, man. There's no way, because, like, it's common sense unless you don't have that. He didn't have that common sense, but there's no way, like, if you're going to take something, especially a medication, and you don't know what it is, like, you're more inclined to ask somebody, like, with some sort of expertise, like, hey, what is this that I'm about to take or put into my body? Like, you could easily ask a doctor.
No, yeah, like, read the label. I mean, even better yet, I mean, in Major League right now, in any sport, really, I mean, people get drug tested just off of one great performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if they find something off you, they're going to suspect something. So, I'm telling you, I mean, it's definitely foolish of Tatis.
Jacob?
I completely agree with both of you that he should have gone to the team doctor and received whatever prescription medication he needed for whatever he had. Ringworm, I don't know, addiction, whatever it is.
Fungus,
yeah. Athlete's foot, okay, whatever. Take whatever you need from the people that are in charge, so that, like Daniel said, you don't get busted.
Yeah.
If there's an accident or anything that's going on, that anything accidental happens, they give you. Okay, now to what Tati said. If it is true, no doubt, they figure out that he took something that he didn't know had small amounts of clostebol inside. He should get penalized, but I would think that 80 games would be a bit too much. Maybe till the end of the regular season, he'll start in the postseason. Or maybe from to the postseason, he doesn't get paid. or something like that. Because I feel like I said he didn't purposely take it because of the costable, but there was still costable in it, which in the rules, if you take it, you took it. You took it, you took it. So it's is the MLB going to be lenient with, okay, you accidentally took it or you purposely took it? Either way, you took it.
There's no way of proving that, man. There's absolutely
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If there's any way they can prove it, then I guess they should change the ruling. But if not, then he should just have to take it. Just take the rule, whatever as it is. Wait till next season. Just go and recover, practice, get stronger, and then wait for next season and get better, or whatever it is.
I personally, I think he really screwed up his team, man. I think that he really screwed up his team, and he's supposed to be, the guy to be in San Diego and be the quote unquote the leader, the guy. And now his teammates gonna look at him and be like, dude, like we signed Juan Soto, we put ourselves in position. Like, I can see why the owner and the president are upset, because they're like, we spent this money to get Juan Soto to help, like, to have you there to be part of this, like, to build all this. You just wasted all this money on Juan Soto. Yeah, you're getting a good player, but you want all your pieces together, and you literally just shot this team in the foot. So I think it's selfish, to be honest.
I don't know if you guys saw. I forgot where it was on either TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I forgot which one it was. That it's something called the Dairy Queen curse. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
Oh no, yeah.
That these Dairy Queen sponsored 4 MLB players, and all 4 players are now not even playing. 3 of them are injured, and now Tatis with the suspension. So anybody that's going to be sponsored for Dairy Queen now are going to take that into account.
I don't know.
I love it.
I mean, I don't know if Bryce, because can you imagine the end of some of these players? Like Bryce Harper was there, right? Cody Bellinger. Can you imagine the end of those guys would be just based off of a Dairy Queen blizzard? You know what I mean? Just like a swip of a scoop and a quick, advertisement paycheck, and that's about their MLB careers. I mean, it'd be worse than the Madden curse, honestly. I think that would definitely be worse than the Madden curse. I'm telling you, Dairy Queen, you got to be careful with them. Go to Baskin Robbins. Not sponsored, but do go to Baskin Robbins.
Cold Stone,
but I don't know. I just don't trust the fact they make the ice cream on the board. You know what I mean? They make the ice cream on a flat piece of board. Whenever you go to Cold Stone, they put like, oh, what do you want in it? Oh, I have Oreos, and they chop it up. I mean, that can't be sanitary. That just can't. That doesn't idealistically look right. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna go with Ben & Jerry's.
Oh, so that's a good one. All right.
Listen, I don't know why. Look, I'm an LA Dodgers fan, but like you still have some, respect for your home team. Show them at least a little bit of love. But like, when I don't see a Marlins game, like, and I look at the end of the night when we got to update our PlugTalkSports stuff, and I look at the score, I'm like, why do I even look, man? They just got swept, a 4-game sweep against the Atlanta Braves. It's like literally the only team that the Marlins can win against is the Washington Nationals. That's it. Outside of the Washington Nationals, they're losing every game. And I think they have one of the fewest runs scored. I think it was like 4 runs in the last 15 games. That's insane. Do you guys think that it's time for the Marlins to move past Don Mattingly?
I mean, because the idea is, we're, finally past the Jeter era, right? Yeah. So Don Mattingly, he's been there already with a couple of seasons, but he's also been through a couple of different, pieces of the front office, introducing back and forth with GMs, different owners now. So, Don Mattingly, he's had like a different deck of players every single year. And it's just hard for me to say that is the coaching, is it just building a new chemistry every single season, front office stuff. So personally for me, I would have to say, I don't feel like Mattingly's going to be the guy to give you a World Series, and again, I'm pretty sure there's more Marlins fans out there who are riding this Mattingly thing all the way to the end, but that end might be very, very soon with him in the Marlins.
You're right. He wasn't in the guy in LA either, in the Dodgers, and then they switched him out. He came to Miami. We got Dave Roberts, and he brought the World Series, but he wasn't, and he was in LA for quite a bit of time too. He wasn't the guy in LA either. I agree with you, Brian. I don't think he's the guy that brings you a World Series. John?
To be honest, I think you guys already know how I feel about the Marlins, based on the previous podcasts and other episodes.
We have an idea.
Okay, I don't think it's him technically. I just think he needs some good players. So I think based on how the game is transitioning more into offense, more into what people want to see home runs. I just think they need a couple sluggers, a couple good hitters to then increase the offense and maybe get some more W's. Because obviously pitching is important. They got Alcantara. I always say
Alcantara.
Yeah, I would say Sandy. Let's say Sandy. They got Sandy, but they got a couple other good, decent pitchers. But their hitting is terrible. Their hitting is terrible. Besides maybe one or two, you can't hit. You need to score some points. So that's why the Dodgers, that's why the Padres, the Yankees, the Mets, they all got really good hitters and people that can hit the ball over the wall. You need runs. So I'm saying if they can just get some good drafts and good people from the minor leagues to come in and get some good games in for them, I think they can produce more than you think. Maybe not the manager is the problem.
I'm 50-50 on that because I'll tell you why. I do agree. People love to see home runs. I get it. But I think a good bullpen takes you a long way. When you get into the postseason.
Oh, no, yeah, I agree to that.
When you get into the postseason, there's nothing better than a good bullpen that's going to take you all the way and get you out of some dangerous situations. So I'm 50-50 on that. I think, yes. You look like you said, like a team like the Dodgers, they have a solid bullpen. And they have a solid offensive game. And not only that, look at the players they got on the field. You have Mookie Betts. You have Bellinger. It's stacked. Trey Turner. So they got a good defense as well. I mean, that's the overall. Obviously, a team is not going to be overall like stars everywhere. But I think the most important thing is to have a good bullpen. Which the Marlins been iffy on.
Yeah, I mean, a bullpen is obviously a huge part. I mean, if for Marlins fans remember like 2017, 2018 when they had that all-star outfield with like Ozuna, Yelich and Stanton and all that. I mean, the bullpen itself, I mean, that was the only thing lacking keeping the team behind. Mm-hmm. But I think now, especially for the Marlins throughout this entire year, we've been seeing there have been droughts, right? We don't see any runs out of the Marlins in frequent situations or even closing out games. Like I even remember there's been multiple games where the Marlins are leading maybe like by 2 runs or whatnot. The 8th inning comes in and somehow we lose the game by 3. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's more than just an ideal, single guy that gives you hits or some sort of like big cash money move that, from the farm system or from a big name somewhere. But it's just got to be something more. That's why I said again, I don't believe that Manley's the guy just because in these situations, I mean, how do you pick up your team? I mean, what do you change? You know what I mean? I mean, we've seen what was it, like 39 innings, the Marlins didn't get a single run in the middle of this year, right? The Braves, we just got swept by. How many runs we got in that one? I remember watching the Braves, one of the games, we were leading 1-0 throughout the entire ball game, and we just ended up like ambushing the whole situation, just like
3-1, right? We lost.
Yeah, we lost I think 3-1 or whatever. I forgot what it was. I think it was like a Sunday or a Saturday. But the point is, I think that it's not just the players itself. It's just the idea that we cannot get ourselves too much into the coaching where, man, we don't have any runs going on. But are we really going to look at the players? We have to look at the coaching. We have to look at the coaching.
I think for so many years, granted, yes, they have 2 world championships. I don't think talent's ever been an issue for the Marlins. I think it's been management. Management has always gotten in the way from the Marlins succeeding. It's always been an issue. When you look at 2012, when the Marlins first entered their new ballpark, they had guys on the roster, and I think that team could have gone far. I mean, the coach was Ozzie Guillen, but the bullpen, you had Anilo Sanchez, Ricky Nolasco, Josh Johnson. On the field, you had Jose Reyes, Hanley Ramirez, Giancarlo Stanton. That's a team right there that look at the guys. It was a good bullpen, and you had good players on the field, and you had players that could hit. What more can you? It's management gotten away from that team succeeding.
It's horrible. It's horrible. But it just shows you how much a front office means. I mean, look at the New York Knicks in the NBA. You know, it's always a front office. It's always a front office in whatever you want to look at. But from the Marlins point, I mean, at least we got rid of Jeter. But, I mean, only time will tell.
We're going to move on to our next point of the night, and it's going to be some preseason football. Week 1, the Miami Dolphins take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after a whole week of joint practice with them. The Dolphins squeak by Tampa in week 1 of preseason and get the victory. Obviously, the big guys, the stars, were not playing. There was no Tua. There was no Brady for Tampa. None of that stuff. So we saw a lot of backups, third strings, fourth strings. It was kind of a wild game. There was quite a few turnovers for the Dolphins, I will say. Jonka might hate me for this. Brandon's going to probably love me. I know this is just one preseason game, and we saw a lot of backups, but something in my gut just makes me feel like the Dolphins can actually put up a fight this season.
I agree. I mean, they should.
That's what I feel like. I feel like they finally have that team and that exciting talent on the team that fans, because there's always been Dolphins fans. That stadium, that's one thing I'll say about Miami fans. They can bandwagon a whole bunch of teams, but Dolphins fans, Hard Rock Stadium always fills up. I think this is finally a team that the fans will be excited about and a team that will put up a fight for the AFC East. And I think it's going to be very exciting. And I'm very excited to be able to commentate some of these games with Brandon. I think that it's going to be a very, very eventful, exciting season for the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, as I said before, it was a close game, 26-24. We did see a lot of the guys that we probably won't even know, like, Skylar Thompson at Kansas State. I mean, he did pretty well, obviously, probably going to be the third string. He's going to be fighting for that position. But I think one of the biggest things that if you're a Dolphin fan, and again, this is early as you can get, week 1 preseason, but this is the first time we got to see Mike McDaniels, head coach of the Miami Dolphins, in a game. And honestly, I thought he moved the offense pretty damn well. I mean, I liked the way he was doing things. I mean, it's not like he had like a strong run type of option, RPO. He was getting guys inside of the middle of the field open. So honestly, I don't know when they're going to have Tua as a starter in the preseason. I don't know if they're even include Tyreek in part of that plan. But I would love to see Tua and Mike McDaniels in the preseason at least working out things for at least one quarter. But from what we got from this game, I mean, I love it. I love what Miami Dolphins has. I think it's definitely something that I think will be an issue for the AFC.
And Brandon, how do you feel, before John goes, I want to ask you this, it just popped in my mind. How do you feel about them trading Adam Shaheen?
Well, I think Shaheen, it's not like it's like a 50-50 at the moment that I'm feeling about it, because Shaheem, obviously, in the whole trade that was going on with the Texans you're talking about, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I believe that one was for a 6th-round pick. It actually failed because of his physical. So now he's back with the Dolphins. But in reality, Mike Gesicki and who else? You know what I mean? Who else in that tight end room would really, fight for that first string position? And I know that, again, preseason, so it's very early in the season. But if they're already trying to ship out Shaheem, that just means that he's not even cutting it in camp, right? I haven't been to the training camp myself, but I'm pretty sure that they're looking at him and they're saying, this guy might not even make third string. This guy we might even, move out him to probably another position for the practice squad. So Shaheem, obviously, for the Dolphin fans out there, obviously, Jaceki, we got the kid out of Boston College last year, and Long. I mean, he might not have a position even to block for this offense in this upcoming season. So I think Shaheem, just to get him out of the building, great move by the front office and the GM, Greer. But, I mean, a failed physical, I mean, it's going to be a little bit awkward the next day that you come and see each other. So,
you know what? I also think it could be a factor because you look at that trade, they were getting, I think it was like 2 or 3 draft picks back from the Houston Texans.
Yeah, but the sixth round.
Yeah, but even though I think it plays a factor that they were trying to, part of the reason they were making that trade, one reason for what you just stated, the other reason is for the whole Stephen Ross situation where they got punished with draft picks. So they were trying to make a trade to regain some draft picks through a trade. So I think that plays a factor in why they were trying to make that deal.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, with the whole thing with Stephen Ross, they have to at least try to do something for the future. But, I mean, 6 rounds, it's hard to even make even a practice squad as a 6-round talent. Not saying it's never happened before. Tom Brady, obviously a late round prospect that ended up being something. There's other names to it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Still misses out on those first rounders.
Jaka, your thoughts on Dolphins Buccaneers preseason week 1?
I mean, I was watching the game with you, but I saw the game ended with a missed field goal by Borealis from 49 yards to win the game. I was like, wow, he misses that one, but he makes it 55. So I was just like,
yeah, we kind of
irony.
We kind of experienced that at FIU. I don't know, Brandon, if you remember the Camellia Bowl. Guy was drilling 40 and 50 yarders and something to win the game. Just a chip shot from like a 25, he can't make it. I'm like, you can drill these from like 60 yards away, but you can't hit a chip shot from 25.
It's horrible, man. You got to feel for the kickers, man, but it makes no sense.
I'm going to address something that Brandon said. Not that I don't disagree with it. It's like it's an iffy situation because you said you'd like to see Tua and the new coach at least run it for at least a quarter.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing is, me and Daniel had like, and my brother had a thing about the fantasy. You remember we were talking about how anything can happen in the preseason.
Yep.
And just like take into account the history that Tua has had with prior injuries and how unlucky Miami Dolphins fans are. If let's say you were to put him in for a quarter and just one little thing, one little tackle, one little push, the dude falls down, he trips, twists an ankle, and you can see all the hopes and dreams for the season wash away, never to be seen again.
Yeah,
and you hope Skylar Morrison or Teddy Bridgewater to bring you to happiness.
Yeah, but I mean, it already happened for the Jets with Zach Wilson, his knee injury, and obviously, the infamous Tony Romo back injury that ended his career in a preseason game against Seattle. Cannot believe that happened, but
that's why
I'm telling you right now, if they're going to go into week 1 against New England, and again, this will be a game at home, I would rather have them start a Tua McDaniels relationship a couple of weeks prior to that. Because if they get off to a wrong foot week 1 on live television in Hard Rock, I don't think anybody's going to be nice to Tua for a good couple of days until week 2. I guarantee you that. You might as well get it done out of the way right now, maybe even just for one drive. I can take one drive, but I just want to see it happen. Mike McDaniel's offense, Tua being the play caller, and seeing that now on the field. I mean, it's just at least once before the season. Just something. You got to give us something.
I'm conflicted about that. You know why? Because thinking myself as a Cowboys fan, we all know that Dak Prescott had that horrible knee injury on that Thanksgiving day. Even now in the regular season, when he starts to take off and run, I'm like, slide. I like protect your knee as possible. Like if they were to put Dak Prescott in a preseason game, I will be sitting on the edge of my couch with nerves until he comes out of the game because I don't want him to get hurt and then ruin the season. Then we have Danucci or Cooper Rush be our quarterback.
And remember, the people playing in these preseasons are mostly rookies. They don't know what they're doing. They've played football. They've never played NFL football. So one little accidental push, trip, anything, he falls on with your quarterback. He breaks an ankle. He fractures a knee, bruises a hip or something, anything. You're out for at least 6 weeks.
No, yeah. Actually, now that you probably say that now, because I'm thinking about, the Dolphins, they actually played against the Raiders at Hard Rock coming up for the preseason week 2. Man, if Jonathan Abrams starts off and you see Tua get time with Jonathan Abrams, I don't think that's going to be nice, man. That might be another cracked rib. I'm telling you right now, man. I would not start him off in the preseason against Jonathan Abrams.
And plus, they're playing against an AFC rival. So if that were to happen, who knows? Why wouldn't the coach say, "Hey, these guys are legit. They're a legit threat this year. If you can get to Tua, let them know that you're there. Give them a good hit and see what happens."
It's possible, man. I mean, plus new head coach Josh McDaniels. I mean, you never know. He has some little bit of Patriot blood in him. Just saying.
He's legit.
Might have a little bit of rivalry with the Dolphins still in him and bringing it now to Oakland, another rival. So you never know.
Let's stick on the topic of football. AP Top 25 poll was released today, and I will read out the top 25, and then we'll give our thoughts and opinions of what we think. I think Janka got a glimpse of just a little one thought I had to say about it. We'll talk about it. So starting with, you guys want to start from number 1 to 25 or 25 to 1?
25 to 1.
No, yeah, 25 to 1. 25
okay.
To 1.
At 25, we got BYU. At 24, we've got Houston. At 23, we got Cincinnati. At 22, we got Wake Forest, which, by the way, Hartman is out for Wake Forest, so that's a big loss right there for Wake Forest. At 21, we got Ole Miss. At 20, we got Kentucky. At 19, we have Arkansas. At 18, we have Wisconsin. At 17, we have the reigning defending ACC champions Pittsburgh. At 16, we have the new look Miami Hurricanes. At 15, we have Michigan State. At 14, we got USC. At 13, we have NC State. At 12, we've got Oklahoma State. At 11, we've got Oregon. At 10, we've got Baylor. At 9, we have the Oklahoma Sooners. At 8, we have Michigan. At 7, a team that I think last year I would have liked to see them win more, but Utah. At 6, we got Texas A&M, an opponent on Hurricane's schedule. At 5, we've got Notre Dame. At 4, we've got Clemson. At 3, we've got the defending national champions in Georgia. At 2, we've got Ohio State, or sorry, how they say it on TV in the NFL, the Ohio State University. And then 1, we've got the Crimson Tide in Alabama. I want to say my first point that I mentioned to Janka earlier. Why the hell is Notre Dame number 5? They're always ranked so high and they don't do squat. Why are they there? Why are they number 5? I think they're ranking them of how nice their jerseys are. I don't get it. Every year they're ranked so high and they do nothing. Nothing at all. I don't understand it.
No, makes no sense. But, I mean, I got to tell you, from just a couple of points I can make from just looking at this list, I actually have it right here in front of me as well. I mean, the disrespect to some of the teams. We're talking about Cincinnati, 23 in rankings. That's at least a top 15 program. That they were at the playoffs last year. Sure, they didn't do much against Alabama at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, but you got to admit, I mean, you put what? We're talking about Michigan State over Cincinnati, right? We're talking about teams such as, better yet, and I hate to say this because I know that we're a South Floridian type of panel, but you're putting UM over not only Cincinnati, but as well as Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won the ACC. Clemson wasn't even there competing in the ACC championship last year.
I wanted to tell you that, Brandon. I was about to say that point. I was like, look, why the hell is Miami ahead of Pittsburgh? It makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense. And
the reason I think,
continuing with my point, though, I mean, we're talking about also Michigan being number 8. We also talk about the idea that Oklahoma State specifically, being behind Baylor. I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers that goal line stand in that bowl game they had, but let me tell you, Oklahoma State is a real threat. That should be at least a top 10 team, way above Baylor, and especially way above Oklahoma. Guaranteed, Oklahoma State. I think the Cowboys are building something over there, especially with their coach with the mullet. I can't even remember his name at the moment. But the top 4 from the AP, you move out Clemson, you put in Texas A&M. Georgia goes ahead of Ohio State. That's what it should be, top 4. I think Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher, obviously he did with Florida State. He can do it anywhere. I think they're bringing a great program over there. Had a hell of a recruiting year, 2022 draft class, signing class. So if you ask me, I mean, this team will change definitely by week 2 to something else. At least, and this is a guarantee, at least 3 of those teams in the top 10 will lose week 1 and be out of the top 10. And honestly, you know, the ones I'm looking at right now, Clemson, probably Utah, and it's going to be a close one in Florida. I can guarantee you that. I don't know how that's going to go, but the Utah Utes, I think they lost a lot of power going in from the seniors.
Yeah.
But Utah, Clemson, and I got to tell you, Oklahoma might lose week 1. I will not be surprised.
Let me just let you know right now, Notre Dame's first game is against Ohio State.
Oh my!
So that's almost a guarantee. That's probably one of the 3 or 4. You know what I mean? It's almost a guarantee. A lot of these people won't be winning.
To be quite frank with you, I think this poll's kind of disrespectful to me, to be honest. Like,
It's
how
weird.
are you defending? Like, I get recruiting and all the blah 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 stuff, like in the off season, but like, how are you the defending champion in Georgia and not start the season off number 1 at least? Clemson, why the hell are they there?
And Georgia only received 3 votes.
Yeah. You know what I think it is, though? Specifically, you know, the senior class that was on that defense, obviously probably one of the best 11-man defensive groups ever in college football in that Georgia defense. I mean, those seniors are gone. You know what I mean? I mean, Jordan Davis, he's out there in Philadelphia. I mean, we got guys now in the NFL that they have to try to fill in those holes. So that might be the only reason why they even dropped a little bit. So, again, you know, I understand Ohio State and I understand Alabama being the top 2, you know, teams out there because they still have those teams intact. And again, I mean, Nick Saban said, I think during the fall camp that they're kind of in a rebuilding mode like they are every single year. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they haven't really, you know, missed a lot of spots. Georgia has a lot to pick up if they want to be the exact same talent they were in 2021. So that might be the only reason why.
Just remind me, I'm pretty sure, but Pittsburgh won the ACC last year, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I don't understand this list because I also agree that they should be ahead of Miami, even though they did win. So I'm just saying. But then at the same time, they got Clemson at 4, yet they didn't win the conference, and yet they just played it just as bad as Miami did. Exactly. And so I don't understand how they can be at 4. And 4 being the top 4, the 4 that go on.
Yeah, so most likely to make the playoffs. And let alone, they can't even get past Wake Forest. You know, like the fact that Wake Forest and Pitt are behind UM, and don't get me wrong, Cristobal is doing a lot of great things. I think UM is honestly on a great path right now. I think they're, almost top 10, top 15 in recruiting for the class of 2023.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a hard ask for a 16.
The only reason I could see them putting Pittsburgh at 17 behind us, Miami, would have to be because Kenny Pickett went into the draft, and so their QB situation isn't as ideal as last year's. So I'm guessing they got worse in the QB situation. That's the reason why. But just putting them. But the thing is, if that is the reason, one spot shouldn't be. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
This is completely whack.
Yeah, because we have no idea how these people even, ended up going off with these polling. It could have been like a 50-50 mark right there. Down to the balance being that they had to weigh out over Pittsburgh. So, again, I think this is actually really big for the Canes because not only are you in the top 25 beginning of the year, your schedule at the beginning of the year does favor you a little bit. So they're most likely going to be winning games. And, again, Notre Dame against Ohio State week 1, it's not going to look pretty. So, hell, the Canes could probably even go to be – I don't want to put anything out there, but, I would not be surprised they're top 10 within like 2-3 weeks if they start winning the first 3 games.
Yeah.
I the first 2, yes. But the third game would be against Texas A&M, which is at 6. If can pull off a miracle at College Station, which I don't expect them to do, I expect them to lose. But if they can pull that off, I want to see a minimum top 6. Because if you can beat Texas A&M, which is at 6, then you should deserve to be 6 or higher.
Exactly. Well, if you listen to my dad, he says Miami's only getting 2 wins this season.
The 2 being the first 2 at the start of the season.
Yeah, not even a bowl game though. Shoot.
No, just 2 wins. He says just 2 wins. Let's go with the top 10 honorable mentions on receiving votes after the 25. We have Tennessee, Texas, Iowa, Penn State, LSU, Fresno State, Minnesota, UCF, and finally Purdue. If you go a little bit further into that list in the receiving votes, past the top 10 that got receiving votes, Florida's in there with only 14 votes. I know Florida's kind of on the downfall now, but I think for the last 3 or 4 years, Florida was the best program in the state. I think we kind of have to see now. I think the tide's kind of shifting to Miami because of the recruiting class and stuff like that. Obviously, it's based off performance, but I think if you can say right now, it would be Miami because I just haven't yet to see what FSU is going to do. So, yeah.
Florida State?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing anything. They can't even get their locker rooms right. They can't even get the recruitment right. But I'm telling you right now, for the Gators themselves, I've been blessed to have a couple of internships and whatnot, so I had to see some things behind the scenes for Friday Night Lights and whatnot. Yeah. The Gators, in the sense of recruiting, Blue Chip Billy's a real deal. The guy's getting 4 stars out of nowhere. The players themselves are building into this, and they actually just opened up a new facility, an $85 million facility for the football team. That is, state-of-the-art, something similar to what you would probably say it as in Alabama and their facility, thanks to the donors here at the University of Florida. But, Cristobal, again, great staff. He's bringing a lot more culture to Miami where, it's all straight business, not more turnover chains, not more flash and swagger. It's more or less of, it's a regimen you have to follow. But Billy Napier, players coach, and, from what you see around the program in the sense of recruiting-wise, they're flipping guys back and forth. I think one of them, Marcus Stokes from the class of 2024 out of Jacksonville, he flipped from Penn State to Florida, and he was one of the biggest quarterbacks of that class. So, Miami right now is winning out that recruitment battle, but I got to admit, it's thinning every single day. Florida is coming close. They are coming close.
If you guys look at, I don't know if you guys seen the coaches poll. I feel like the coaches poll has a better list or a better ranking than the AP does because they got Pittsburgh ahead of Miami. They got Texas in there finally. They got Michigan at 6. They still got Notre Dame at 5 for some reason. Clemson at 4. Let's see here. USC, they got Wake Forest. Kentucky at 21. They're cracked. No, forget it.
Man, Kentucky's not that bad this year coming in. They're not that bad. You got one of the better quarterbacks out there.
To be top 21?
I don't know. They put Texas in there.
They got FIU at 2.
Yeah, put FIU at 2 and FAU at number 1. The Sugar Bowl will be crazy that year.
I'm just sick of seeing Alabama every year at 1, though.
Let's transition, guys, into our final topic of the night. I think Brandon was at the game. Both Inter Miami CF and the Miami FC are in the final playoff spot in their respective leagues. Of course, Inter Miami being in Major League Soccer and the Miami FC being in the USL Championship. The question is, can they hold on? Both have 9 games remaining left in the season. I know Miami has 5 road games and 4 home games. They've got Toronto. They've got Columbus Crew twice. They've got DC United. I'm just going off the top of my head what I can remember from seeing the schedule earlier. They've got Montreal again. It's going to be quite interesting. They just finally jumped into the 7th spot after this past win that they had.
Great win.
Defending champions, New York City. The question is, can both of those teams, can they hold on and get into the playoffs? I think from my perspective, looking at both teams, yes, getting to the playoffs, it's an accomplishment and stuff like that. But what their first round opponents would look like would be very difficult. Very, very difficult. For Miami FC, I believe, from the top of my head right now, I think it'll be Louisville City, who has kind of owned Miami in the past couple of seasons. They've made it to the USL Championship final. It's gonna be on the road, so that'll be tough. And then for Inter Miami, it'll be a road match as it stands right now against Montreal. And that's going to be tough because Montreal is playing some good soccer this season. Against the MLS, I've learned that the MLS is a league that anything can happen. The reason why I just explained the playoffs, but for Inter Miami, I'm not so worried about Miami FC. I think they could close out the season and finish 7th or even maybe above. Who knows? But definitely think they can finish 7th. Obviously, it's just that playoff game that I'd be worried about. But for Inter Miami, the path to get and hold on to that final playoff spot, you're going to be playing against all the teams 6th through 9th. They're all in a reach of getting into a playoff spot. So all those teams are going to be fighting for the same exact thing as you are, except for DC United, obviously, who have no shot anymore. They're dead last. And Columbus Crew, it's going to be quite the battle for Inter Miami. Not saying they can't do it, but it's going to be an uphill fight.
Yeah, but Inter Miami themselves, I think that, because I was at that game, they went up against, the MLS Cup winners from last year. They actually played a phenomenal game, came back, swallowed the 2020 MLS MVP, was acting like an MVP in that game. I mean, right now, they're going off of the right foot. I think that, beginning of the year, I thought about, the message that we saw from last season where it was a bunch of individuals, but not like a team. Mm-hmm. We're now finally seeing somewhat of a team. We're actually seeing more or less back and forth between the guys on the field where you can say that there is some sort of chemistry to build off of. But again, I mean, Dan, as you said, a lot of away games. Like they have 5 away games, 4 at home, and they're in a bunch of other teams where 2 losses probably drops them out, right? Because we're talking about 4 teams on the brink right now of that 7th seed in the East.
Just one, Brandon. One loss, even could be the next game. 1 loss, and if the teams behind them win, then they're just right back down out of the spot.
Exactly. So Inter right now would have to be, they're walking on thin ice right now. And this is somewhat similar that we've seen from, other cases with Inter Miami, I believe last season where they were winning games in midway through the year and they looked to be, no one can stop them. And then they just stopped them in the tracks at the end and was way out of the playoffs to even be considered. Yep. So they find themselves in basically, a revenge type of tour in the sense of, revenge of last season to actually finish it off.
Yeah.
So Inter Miami, I think that the situation is now different. I do believe they should be able to get it done, but it's all going to be based on the road.
And that's very tough because this team has been so good at home, but they have been a really bad team on the road.
Exactly.
I do think the difference that I've seen from last year to this year is that last year when Inter Miami would concede, game over. That's it. They conceded. This year, they concede and they fight back. So that's a difference I see. But the final thing I want to address before Janka goes is I think this entire fan base in City owes Gonzalo Higuain an apology.
Oh.
An apology. Because this man is the reason why they've gotten goals and wins in the last few matches. It's been him, and he's had a little bit of a better attitude. He's been playing well. Him and Pozuelo have really mixed well. And obviously, yes, Leo Campana he picked up an injury. He's out for quite some time now. But even before the injury, he was not in form. He was not scoring anymore. I still will say it. Higuain's the most experienced player on this roster. And the best player on this roster. I think he deserves an apology.
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. He has been running a little bit. You can tell he's been doing some conditioning now. His old legs are actually moving, but I mean, better than Campana. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. A little bit, only a few games, man. But I mean, who knows if he even because Campana. I mean, when does he even come back from injury? Because if he does come back from injury, will they even start him?
I believe it's 4 to 6 weeks he's out.
Oof, then never mind. I don't think so. It's too deep. But Higuain, just know, again, if you're watching this, just know that I apologize. But at the same time, hopefully we can finish the season out for this apology to stand. Because if we don't finish the season out with at least a playoff game, forget it. Forget it.
Janka, your thoughts on this final topic?
I think Inter Miami can do it. You know me. You have to believe.
I want you to be realistic as well.
Don't worry. Let me. It's my take now.
Right.
Okay, so the Saturday just beat and the champions, right?
Yeah.
3-2 away. So that's a good win.
It was home.
It was home? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. This is false then. Whatever. They play Toronto. Is that home or away?
It's at home.
Bro, this thing's all fucked up. ESPN needs to fix their stuff. I'm calling them out. Well, Miami, they need to win that game. Once they win that one, they got a whole entire week to prepare for the Red Bulls. Because once they play the Red Bulls, 4 days later they play Columbus. So they would have to win. Take a good game from Toronto. Hopefully play well. They'll have a week off again.
Which is going to be interesting. I will say, again, it is a home game. Inter Miami's played well at home. But we're looking at Toronto's they're in the hunt as well. But we're looking at a new look Toronto that has the Italians of Lorenzo Insigne and Bernardeschi. And they've been doing well since they got here.
No, yeah, I agree. They've won 3 of their last 5, and they've drawn once.
Yep.
So I'm like, that's a good team. So if Miami could just pull off a win there. They got another week to recover. They play the Red Bulls. They win that game.
Which that's a 4th place team right there.
I know. I'm just saying if they could just get it together and just work for their stuff, just work for it. They gotta play Columbus in 4 days. After that, let this thing load. Sorry, delay, technical difficulties.
There's a team that I failed, Brandon, to let you know it's on those final games. It is at home, but it will be on short rest notice. And it is another derby against Orlando City.
Oh my gosh, man!
Yep.
You gotta be kidding.
On the 5th, right, of October.
Yep.
Yeah, I see it here.
if the season comes down to the Florida Derby in Miami, I will fly out to that game and be on the pitch. I will be on the field dressed in all pink heartbeat, just ready for Inter Miami to play, man.
Hey, man, and the final game of the season is against Montreal. That's not an easy task right there either.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though, a couple of draws would save us.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you something right now. From September 10th to the 18th, in just 8 days, Inter Miami would have to play 3 games against Chicago, Columbus, and DC United.
And 2 of
That's
those,
not that much rest.
two out of those 3 are teams that are contending for a playoff spot.
Exactly. So I'm just like, those are three games in an 8-day span, and then so if we're gonna really try to stay in 7th place or high or go higher, you're gonna have to really try to at least draw those games to stay. And then you got Toronto and Orlando. Those are 12 games later. Okay, yeah. And then Montreal at the end. Now, the question is, it's not will they get there. I can see him making it. The real question is, and Daniel knows, he can see this coming. Can Neville motivate them to successfully complete this mission? Because I've seen them play well, but then I've seen them play bad. And I mean bad. Because if they could just play how they played against New York on Saturday, they can easily beat anybody. Now, can they continue to hold that momentum and that sort of ego against everybody else? Every game from now on they play. And stay healthy, obviously. Don't get red cards. Don't be stupid. Don't be fouling people for no reason. Pass the ball. Don't take 10 minutes to throw in the ball. The things they usually do.
I'm gonna end it on a sentence that the famous Kanye West said. If I didn't win, everyone wanted to know what I would do. I guess we'll never know.
No.
So we're gonna have to wait and find out how this season concludes for the Herons. But that's gonna wrap up and conclude episode 60, guys. Again, just an honor and pleasure. Appreciate everyone tuning in, watching. Keep up with all of our social media and all the stuff we got going on. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us there at PlugTalkSports. We hope everyone has a good rest of the week, and good night.